James Harden today. He wasn't available. Neither was Kyrie. Kevin Durant played on the second night of a back-to-back. He scored 26. Here's KD with Cassidy Hubbard.
Well, you get a win and potentially another superstar coming aboard. The deal is not finalized, but what's your reaction to potentially reuniting with your former OKC teammate, James Harden?
I'll wait till the deal is finalized to talk about it.
Okay, due to the reported trade, you guys only had 9 players out there and 7 were in double figures. So how do you sum up this team performance with all of the drama and chaos surrounding this team?
I don't think there's any drama or chaos. I think the game is, just the game simply is enough for us, and guys is coming out there enjoying playing every day, no matter what the circumstance is. And there's a lot going on throughout the season, in this world right now. But this basketball is one thing that everybody in this locker room enjoys to do. So we came out here and played together on both ends of the floor. And, it was good for us to get this win on the back-to-back.
It's certainly a lot of challenges for the players and your first-time head coach, Steve Nash. How do you think he's been dealing with the start of this season?
He's been doing amazing. I mean, it's an adjustment for everybody, and he's doing a great job thus far.
I don't know what award, but Steve Nash should win one already. Imagine your first month as a head coach, and listen, you'll take all the talent, right? Nets beat the Knicks tonight. Great win by Brooklyn. Shorthanded. The Knicks, who had won 5 of 6, now have lost 4 in a row. So, all right, once Kyrie Irving returns, this is what you're looking at here. Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. Again, the reported trade. The Nets losing out a lot of depth. Remember the guys on TNT just a couple of days ago were calling the Nets the deepest team in the NBA. But
I know more.
Yeah, star power usually wins championships here. So the Nets sacrificing their youth and their depth with Jared Allen and Karis LeVert out, Harden in. Okay, so we know that they shouldn't have any trouble scoring here with this lineup.
And the Nets acquiring James Harden. Hey, everybody, Ryan Rucco with you at Barclays Center. Richard Jefferson from his home in Los Angeles. Richard, we talked a lot about the trade in the pregame for sure, and then it came game time. Well, how are the Nets going to staff this game with so many players unavailable? And also, how are they going to handle the emotion of the day, plus being on the second half of a back-to-back, plus Kevin Durant for the first time playing in the second half of back-to-back? Well, they handled all that just fine. They look good, starters and bench, and were able to really control the night against the Knicks.
Yeah, they look good. Obviously, Kevin Durant, it didn't look like much of a fatigue. I'm curious to see what he feels like, how his body feels over the next couple of days as you start to recover. But their bench was so key. When you look at TLC, you look at Chiozza and the way he was distributing the ball, they got so much contribution from their bench, which was something that was kind of unexpected going into this with such a shortened roster, losing so many guys. But obviously, Kevin Durant did what he did. Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, the starters were great, but Brown played great. It was a really solid performance, and they only turned the ball over 7 times. That's key. You're on the road. I don't care if there's a crowd or not. If you only turn the ball over like that and you have the offensive efficiency of a team like this, it's a great equation.
Yeah, Richard, that's such a great point, because if you look at the Nets defensively, looking at the metrics, looking at the numbers, their defensive field goal percentage has actually been towards the top of the league to start this season. It's been the way they've coughed the ball up and given up opportunities in transition, and then the second opportunities that they've allowed. But tonight, the way they protected the basketball gave that defense a chance to succeed against a Knicks offense that has struggled as well.
Yeah, well, you have to understand who you are, and sometimes it can take 20, 30 games to really kind of dissect who you are and what your formula for success is. This team, one of the questions about the potential trade for James Harden is defense. They're already a team that's struggling a little bit on defense. The offensive firepower is going to be there, but if you're not a great defensive team or you're a team that's working to improve on that, you can't compound that by turning the ball over and giving up easy buckets, because now you're putting even more pressure on your offensive side, which you're great, but that's not a formula for high-level success.
Take a look at the stats from tonight's action with the Nets. 116-109 winners over the Knicks. Nets shoot it at 48%, shot it really well from 3, 16 of 40. The 29 assists, and Richard mentioned the low turnover number. And Richard, Kevin Durant, second half of a back-to-back, playing at Madison Square Garden, where only Michael Jordan averages more points per game. Durant looked really good, and that's an encouraging sign. Another test that he passes in the aftermath of his Achilles injury.
Yeah, agreed. And it's one of those things. It's more of the test now comes, like I mentioned earlier, how his body feels over the next couple of days. He wasn't really in there the last few minutes because they had a lead. He came back in to kind of seal the free throws and give a little stability to make sure that the game was sealed. But, I look at Landry Shamet. This is going to be an opportunity for him to kind of get going. This guy can shoot. You've seen it in Philly. You saw it with the Clippers. So now he gets an opportunity to get going, and he did a great job tonight. Missed a couple early, but really started to get a rhythm. He's one of the guys that when you look at how pieces are going to fit, he's going to get an extended opportunity to really play. But ultimately tonight, it was about Kevin Durant. It was about the stability from the starters and the contributions from the bench. Like I said, it was Landry Shamet. It was Perry. These guys were doing such a great job. TLC with the defensive effort and contributing on the offensive side. It was a well-balanced attack.
How about Bruce Brown, Richard, and what he has brought to this team? I mean, it's been incredible. And Kevin Durant was one of the guys who really complimented Bruce Brown. You saw Durant, we didn't want to keep that graphic up there too long, Richard, because it wasn't going to make you happy. But
he's got enough records. Like I'm going to be really honest. When you ask him, when Kevin Durant's going to the Hall of Fame, and they're like, "Hey, what stat are you most impressed by?" And he's like, "Yeah, my consecutive games with 20 points to start my Nets career." Yeah, that's the one he's going to really point out. But I think the compliment to this is more of coming off an Achilles injury, not playing a game of basketball for over a year, and then to be able to step in with this type of high-level performance. It's a compliment to him. It's a compliment to his doctors. It's a compliment to his work ethic because he came to play. He was locked in, ready to go, and he put in the work, and you're seeing it.
And now he passes Richard Jefferson for most consecutive 20-point games to start his season. That's right, Richard. I'm sure he is going to have pride in that. Meanwhile, Steve Nash hugging his godson. We will hear from the Nets head coach on a busy day in Nets land. That's coming up next here on Yes.
What pleased you most about your team's performance tonight?
Yeah, the professionalism, interesting day today, and a back-to-back, like you said, and the fifth in 7 nights. So, they came out and were professional, did a great job defensively, moved the ball offensively, made simple plays, didn't turn it over, battled on the boards. So, overall, really proud of the way they played under what was the long week.
How did you feel about Kevin, his first game playing on the second half of back-to-back?
He looked good to me. He got to his spots and continues to find his rhythm. He made plays for his teammates again. And, I like I said before the season,